Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going over Strangers from a Different Shore by Ronald Takaki, Chapter 8, The Tides of Turbans, Asian Indians in America. My name is Professor Bond. Chapter 8, The Tide of Turbans, Asian Indians in America. In 1864, Hildebrand was sent to go to China first and then to the East Indies to look for possible Indian labor. Planters asked Hawaiians to repeal the restrictive labor laws. 20 years later, Asian Indians appeared in the Washington lumber yards and California agricultural areas, such as Central Valley. They were called the Dark Caucasians. What is the Hindu question? Well, by 1920, 6,400 Asian Indians entered the United States. How are they similar to Koreans? Well, they were similar and they're all men. They also had different phenotypes from very light to very dark. They're racialized as Black and Asian. But what race, quote unquote, were they part of? Now, if you look at Asian Indians and you consider them part of the Yellow Peril, Asian Indians they're coming from Aryan stock, but they're considered part of the new Yellow Peril. They're feared by Anglo laborers and subjected to intense violence. So in 1907, several Anglo workers invaded Asian Indian residents in Bellingham, Washington, and drove out 700 Indians across the border into Canada. So quite terrible experiences they had with mob violence. Now, there's also court cases. Now, although Indians and white, quote unquote, came from the same stock, one went west, the other one went east, how were they perceived to be different? Well, some people would consider Asian Indians to be Asian. And some people, such as this gentleman, Bhagat Singh Trind, he in 1923 sued the United States government, and he sued them because he said that he was Caucasian and therefore he was white. And thus all Indians should be able to immigrate freely to the United States like other white people. Now, unfortunately, he lost the case, and the result, what they said was the common man did not consider Indians to be white, even though, yes, they are Aryan and they have a Caucasoid or Caucasian. These are historical terms that are somewhat non-politically correct now. They are not considered white people now, okay? So this actually had a huge effect. It canceled many citizenships. Now, another case is the Ozawa versus US case in 1922, which was a Japanese person who actually in the United States, who also sued the United States government by saying that he was white. And he said, well, you know, I have lighter skin than Italians or Greeks, and I am white. And he also lost the case. Now, back to the misunderstood Sikhs. Sikhs very much developed the Central Valley. They developed the land, they developed the agriculture, and they're subjected to a lot of mob racist violence. And so a lot of people don't give credit to Sikh Americans who very much impacted the food industry of past, right? They often in Central Valley own almond farms, but also almond farms simultaneously in India, which is such a fun fact to know. And again, Indians are also big purveyors of grocery stores, owners of pizza places, as well as a lot of them are truckers now that are actually driving food across the nation. Notable Indians books I would like you to read. The Karma Brown Folks by Bisha Prasad. Everyone Does Kung Fu Fighting by him as well. Just great, wonderful Indian American stuff. Now, Indians, unfortunately, were driven out by mob violence, Anglo mob violence, but where did they go? Well, after Washington, they went to California, and some of them went into Canada. And my question to you is, and if you want to pause, what were their jobs? Who did they marry? The results. Well, actually, Indian American men or Indian men in America frequently married Mexican women. In fact, in Central Valley, 76% of these were Mexican brides. Unfortunately, these were a lot of cultural differences, as the families in India were not supporting of these marriages, and the Mexican side was not supporting as well. And unfortunately, many of these marriages ended in divorce. But the result was these wonderful children, yet also this delicious food that you still can find all over Central Valley, such as if you've ever had curry chicken or tiki masala chicken pizza, it's delicious. So great food combinations. And another interesting fun fact is these children who were half Mexican and half Indian, mother Mexican, maybe Catholic, father Indian, a lot of them identify as white, which is, again, very shocking, but that is what they identify as. And so again, I want you to think about who are Asian Indians? Well, they came, I want you to think about the who, what, where, and when. They came to the United States around 1907. Many were in Punjabi from North India. Lots were Hindu, Sikhs. And 1990, the arrival of very, very wealthy Muslim Indians, which, really complicates the narrative. If you're looking at the, currently the over 4 million Indian Americans, there's not one singular story. There's multiple stories of being Indian American. Now, what did the original people have? The original that came in 1907? Well, they're farmers. They built huge communities. In Fresno, they built temples, very much a Punjabi Hispanic farmer, right? They're mixed. Yuba City, California, huge, wonderful. If you're looking more interested at, I think UC Davis has a beautiful archive on Indian farmers. Well, they're mostly from Punjab, India. The original settlers, of course, the new settlers are from all over India and actually quite diverse. Why did they come here? Well, in 1865, Hawaiian Board of Immigration goes to China, East Indies, asks for labor, and 1884, Japan permits immigration to Hawaii Islands, and 20 years later, Asian Indians flock to Washington and California for labor. And who are these Asian Indians? Well, talking about traditionally, they're people from the Himalayan peaks to the Indian Ocean with a history of Asian descent, people who with unique beliefs, Hinduism, Muslim, Sikhs. Also, like their Indian brethren, they were strangers from a different shore, and they were Caucasian and Aryan. So again, back to Baba Singh Trind, we did have that important case where he sued for citizenship, and unfortunately he lost. He sued that he was white, Caucasian, Aryan, which is technically true, but the course case he lost, and they said the common man did not think of Indians as white people, Caucasoids, quote unquote. And again, lots of different aspects have come from this, right? We have a huge flourishing population, okay? And of course, the experiences of racism they had in here and in Canada, okay? And again, massive rioting where they're pushed out of lumber yards and into Canada. And of course, I cannot de-emphasize enough, after 9/11, the racism towards Indians was huge. There have been multiple mass shootings, mass murders of Indian Americans. And actually, that's quite never really publicized, but a white man came up to shoot a temple where 6 Indians were murdered and 4 were injured. And they were just praying, okay? And that happened. And again, there was another incident of an Indian elderly man was paralyzed after an Alabama police officer attacked them, okay? So again, this is a very evolving population, very multinational, transnational, and very varied. We have very extremely wealthy Asian Indians who are coming in with a visa, doctor visas, and we have very working class, have been here for over 100 years, rural, still farmer Indians that are, really contributing in wonderful ways. So again, it's not one story, but it's very multi-storied.